politics. They'll try to do something to me, and I be serious about what's really going on, because I know our communities are really in need, and I know that our children deserve more than to be aborted. So I don't be playing, like, and my feelings and my emotions be in it. So for me, like, it's just a little bit too stressful. I want to be in politics, and like I get frustrated because I sit up here and I see all of these people that, like, let's be clear, the Republican Party has never tried to proclaim that they were the party for black people like the Democrats, right? The Democrats basically make it seem like they're our representatives and they speak for us, right? Let's be clear, that's what they do. The Republican Party, they hadn't tried to make it seem to everyone in the world that they are the party just for the black community. So the Democrats have portrayed this image that they are our representatives. It's so many other things that need to be addressed. It's so many other things that we could be fighting for in Congress when it comes to the black community. But instead of that, y'all up there voting for our children to be transitioned. Y'all sitting up there voting, right, for our babies to be aborted and telling us it's a constitutional right. Why it ain't a constitutional right for us to live free without worrying about getting murdered or being discriminated against? Why it ain't a constitutional right for us to be able to go into a grocery store like Tops and shop for food for our family without being shot dead? Why it ain't a constitutional right for our grandmamas and granddaddies to go to church and they ain't got to worry about getting shot dead? Why it ain't a constitutional right for our babies to be born alive, healthy, and free from an unjust system? Why that's not a constitutional right? Why it ain't a constitutional right for generational wealth to be a real thing? Why it ain't a constitutional right for us not to have to deal with redlining, right? And discrimination, things that keep us war. Why it ain't a constitutional right that black farmers get funded just like white farmers did? Why that ain't a constitutional right? Why it ain't a constitutional right for our children to have school choice? Y'all want us to have a constitutional right to, why it ain't a constitutional right for us to have access to healthy food? Why it ain't a constitutional right for everyone to have land to grow their own food on? Why it ain't a constitutional right for us to have free, clean water? Like, it's a whole lot of things they could be fighting for. Why it ain't a constitutional right for us to be able to bear arms and protect our family without having to worry about getting shot dead if somebody happened to just call the police? Why it ain't a constitutional right for us to discipline our children so when they grow up, we ain't got to worry about y'all shooting them dead or calling them all type of heathens because you see them running around crazy with Black Lives Matter while your little white kids dressed in all black leading the whole parade? Why it ain't a constitutional right for us to have freedom of speech? Why it ain't a constitutional right for me to have a platform that tells my people, no, we don't need to abort our babies without me getting blocked? Why it ain't a constitutional right for me to be able to monetize off of my social media pages like everybody else that's telling us to kill each other, be a hoe, do drugs, drop out of school, quit your job, surrender? I know y'all heard that new Beyonce song, Don't Get Me Started, talking about the queens in the front and the doms in the back. Who is the queens? Because y'all already know they call queens feminine black men. So you the doms, who's the doms? The dominant men? What you mean queens in the front and doms in the back? Is that the same thing we saw at the DNC? Y'all remember at the DMC when they had Billy Porter floating around the stage like he a butterfly with the masculine men behind him bending down on their knee with their fists lifted? Y'all better stop playing with me. Y'all better stop playing with me. Black women, black men, we need to come together. We love our LGBTQ community, but reality is this, right? Like, every LGBTQ person came from heterosexuality. Every person on this earth, you came from heterosexuality. It don't, however you want to cut it. If you If your mama went into the clinic and got the test tube, whatever, you had to go get the sperm of a man. Every person on this earth came from heterosexuality. So what we have to do is we have to make sure, right, that we continue, right, to not only reproduce, right, but that we are also fighting to preserve Black life. If you are upset right now that a white woman was standing with Trump and said, thank you for preserving Black life, and you don't see the value in us preserving Black life, if you're more upset about what she said than what we've been doing, because we can't be mad, right, that they're smart enough to recognize a need, right, to keep babies being born or to preserve their race, while we only recognize a need to abort ours. Like you gotta pick and choose. And if she said preserving white life, that's her business. She white. They white. They white, right? They got a right to want to preserve white life. We Black. We've been running around screaming Black Lives Matter for the past 2 years, didn't give a damn how nobody felt. And if they had something to say about it, they shit was burnt down, spray paint, whatever. We're pro-Black. Guess what? They got a right to be pro-white. That's their business. Our business should be making sure that we are doing everything, if not more, that they are doing to preserve Black life. Right? It's not a time to get mad. It's a time to get glad, because reality knows this. Reality knows that the abortion clinics in the Black neighborhoods, not in the white neighborhoods. Not in the white neighborhoods. They got fertility clinics. The abortion clinics are in our neighborhood. They can't preserve white life by ending abortion without preserving Black life. So if we have aborted 46% of our population since the passing of Roe v. Wade, let's give it another 40 years and see where our numbers are. We cannot cry about being a minority if we're not doing anything to be the majority. And it goes beyond, see, reality is race is the race. Do you hear me? Race is the race. This is a numbers game. And when they say people of color or we're outnumbering them, they ain't just talking about Black people. They talking about Black people, brown people, Asian people, all people of color, because remember, they lumped us all in one. They're still the majority when it comes to Black people. Don't get it twisted. We are only 13% of the population if we're just talking about Black. We ain't talking about adding everything else in. We talking about us. Foundational Black Americans, we are talking about us. We are only 13% of the population. When they address people of color, they are not just talking to us. Please don't get it twisted. We got to do the same thing they doing to save our race. And it ain't nothing wrong with that. And it ain't nothing. And we ain't got to be mad with white people for wanting to preserve their race. That's what they supposed to do. I mean, ain't that what they supposed to do? Ain't that what we supposed to be doing? Ain't that what the Asians supposed to be doing? Ain't that what the Latino? Ain't that what all of us supposed to be doing? And if we more than 13%, then why are we still oppressed? If y'all feel like we the majority, why we still oppressed? Why we still begging? Why we ain't took over? Where's our army? Because for what I see, we ain't in control. I'm going to see a friend of mine right now, y'all. Just pulled up to the hospital. I heard a friend of mine was in a plane crash, and I'm devastated. But something just told me to go live this morning and to just speak, and just ask y'all to continue to support as I work on getting these lines of communication established. That's the best way I can see me being able to service you all, is through lines of communication and just keeping you aware. I don't know about ever running for office again. I don't know. I'm just right now I'm in a place where I don't understand how everybody can come to the forefront when it's time for us to abort Black life, but wouldn't nobody come to the forefront when it's time for us to save Black life. All of these people that we have reached out to, I've reached out to, in regards to giving us an anti-hate crime bill, with no response. But the minute they go to talking about abortion, everybody shows up. How can y'all show up? Because the reality of me is y'all gonna show up for us to end Black life, but you're not gonna show up for us to enhance Black life. You're not gonna show up for us to add, to multiply, to protect, to empower Black life. Like, y'all, they playing games, y'all, and I ain't got time to play games with these people. Ain't neither side doing the right thing as far as I'm concerned when it comes to Black America, and Black America is where my heart is at. And it seems to me like even like on the Republican Party, it's not all of them, but you got some of them that only want to lift up certain voices, and them people ain't doing nothing for the Black community. So my work ain't in politics, my work is in the community. But we're gonna talk about politics, and we're gonna call y'all out, man, and we're gonna just try to do the best that we can. But y'all keep me lifted. I've been having a lot of personal stuff that I've been dealing with, with my family and stuff behind the scenes. But we just out here striving. Everybody just out here striving. For those of you that have supported me, continue to support me. I thank you so much. But I guess to end this message, I just want to say, man, we gotta stop supporting things that destroy us. Stop supporting things that erase us. Stop supporting things that end us. Stop supporting things that exterminate us. Stop supporting things that oppress us. Either Black Lives Matter or they don't.